It's your boy D from D Instant Digital back with another Instagram Live with Phoebe, who has normally been a ref for Mission Pro Wrestling, and now she's going to be part of a six-woman tag team match at Mission Pro Wrestling Empty Promises. We got Phoebe in the chat. Let's see how it goes. Okay, Anakin, I got you in there. Hold on.
Am I good? Is everything
All right,
okay?
let's see. Let's see how it goes. Ryan, Anakin, Brian, you guys are in there. Let me get some confirmation. Can you see or hear Phoebe?
Can you see and hear me?
Okay,
There it
Nerds has yes, we're back. Ryan, are we good?
is.
Okay, awesome. I got confirmation from everybody. Everybody. Not fully metal.
Great.
Danny B is in the chat. What's going on? Young lady, hope all is well. You need to
You
hit me
know,
up so we can do one of these Instagram
she
lives to promote the show.
Danny B had such promise, and then she had to go and be an Oklahoma State Cowboys fan.
Let's I
Let's,
saw that, and I know you're a Boomer Sooner fan.
I am.
Um how difficult is it for you to be in Texas surrounded by UT fans and Aggie fans, and you're a Sooner fan?
Hold on. Everything's.
Danny B.
What's going on?
You good, Phoebe?
Everything's buffering on my end.
Okay.
Everything's
Are we
buff.
good?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay. I was just asking, since you're a Sooner fan, is it difficult for you to be in Texas surrounded by Aggie and UT fans?
Oh, absolutely. Every single day. I live in San Antonio and I'm surrounded by Spur fans like everywhere. And I'm probably gonna get canceled for that, but like I get it. You're a Spurs fan. I get it.
So, Phoebe, I have some questions I want to ask you. I know
Oh,
normally you were working as a referee for Mission Pro Wrestling since they're rebranding in September. Now I have learned that there are no more hula hoops. Can you elaborate why there are no more hula hoops?
I'm just done. I'm over it. I've been a joke to people for so long, fans, people in the locker room. I can wrestle. I know I can wrestle. I think I'm good enough to be in the ring with anybody that's better or as good as me. So I figured, screw it.
Mhm.
Like I'm tired of being a joke. I'm not a joke. So that's why I got rid of it.
Pro wrestling, I read that it wasn't necessarily your first love when it came to the entertainment business. Can you tell me about your time as a stilt walker and what that was like?
I got this was right before I moved to Texas. I got a random job. It was at Margaritaville. It was in a casino. And I answered an ad on Craigslist and we went like we trained for like 20 hours a week on stilts. And then they had us make balloon animals and balloon hats. And then now we're walking and trying to make these balloon animals. It was pretty intense training. It was about 2 months of training. Like I used to like twirl and spin and skip, hop, all this other stuff. But when I moved here, I linked up with a company called B3 Entertainment. They are, I forgot where they're based at, but they're like in the DFW area. And so I just linked up with them. I became a silt walker with them, and then I got into some hula hooping, but it wasn't like public events. It was like business meetings and business conferences where like I would have like an LED hula hoop, and I'm just like on stage, just doing clean tricks, just basic movements so that it looks like I'm way more talented than I give myself credit for.
One thing I did want to ask, because it was just a very surprising thing. I think it was earlier today that I finally sent you a friend request on Facebook, and then one of the first posts that I see of you is you screenshotting. Was it a screenshot of one of your DMs? Can you
I,
can you is that a normal thing? I mean, that's a normal thing.
I get the weirdest DMs, and I would ask like other females, like, have you ever gotten this? Like, I've gotten dicks. Oh, can I say that word?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've gotten that. There's been times where like I would even get video calls and then just one time, spur of the moment, and I'm like, okay, shits and giggles. I'm just gonna answer it and just see what is it. And there it is, a big right there, and I'm like, oh my gosh. I was like, why me? And that's on Instagram, Twitter. And it got to the point where like I had to get rid of my Phoebe Facebook and just keep like my own personal one with like my friends and family. That way I didn't get any like spam messages or anything. But every now that at least once a week, like I don't understand. Like
Now,
and
a question I want to ask is that I'm sure that that's, it's a funny story to tell somebody, but I'm positive that that kind of stuff gets old after a while. As a female who is in the public eye with professional wrestling, how do you filter all of that and not let it ruin your day?
I just have to find the humor into it, and I kind of project it from my personal life to wrestling where I can't be mad at them. Like for them, they are just like they're entertaining themselves. Now they just want me to respond. They want me to see it. They want like a reaction from me. And as long as I don't give it to them, then I'm not giving them that satisfaction of like their freaky deaky thing that they got going on in their head. I'm not gonna give it to them. No. I'm gonna
Very
do
fair.
what I do best, screenshot it, put it on my Facebook, and then we're all just gonna make fun of it together.
Nice.
But that
So,
was a weird message though. Like he wanted to be you saw it. You saw
yeah, I
it.
saw it, and I don't know. I mean, you put it out there, so I guess we can talk about it. As far as the details go, he just wanted you to dominate him in a platonic way. He
Yeah.
wanted you to be the boss, and
Mhm.
God, I don't even know what else he dove into, but
You know my
um,
house needs to be clean, so well, there might be something there.
um, so can you also tell me? I saw you post a pretty cool picture of an action figure. Tell me what about Sabu made you gravitate toward him and made him your favorite wrestler?
He was just a badass. Just a badass. When I first started watching wrestling, I only watched ECW. So this was before, and it was right on the same time like Monday Night Wars was going on, and I didn't even know WWF and WCW even existed,
Okay.
because growing up in my household, my mother at the time didn't let me watch any wrestling. So my uncle will like sneak me into the living room and watch wrestling with them. But ECW only came at like 11 o'clock at night. So and it'll be on like less than an hour. And I'm over here just watching it, and it took me a long time because I was 8 years old too. Like I'm over here just trying to register everything, like so much things happening, and it's also the first time I saw Jazz on screen too, and she was the first female wrestler that I've seen on TV, like wrestling men, being a badass that she is.
Yeah.
Before I saw China and who else wrestled? Lita and
Yeah.
all those other girls that wrestled guys. But what gravitated me to Sabu was that he was so fearless. He did not care about himself. He didn't care about his
Mhm.
body. He didn't care about you. You just need to know if you're gonna have a match with Sabu, you're both gonna get hurt. He's gonna probably hurt himself more than you. But like it every time I've seen Sabu on screen, like I'm tuned in. Like what is he going to do? What is he? And he was the only wrestler that week after week, like I'm constantly tuning in because I needed to know. And then his alliance with RVD was just like impeccable. Like their chemistry was just so great. So and then and then they like moved over to like WWF and then got into the whole alliance thing. And then that's when I was like, there's all this wrestling and I didn't even know. I just thought that was just this whole time for at least 2 years. I just thought it was just ECW. I just thought it was that.
I've
And
always had conversations with people, and I know it was always ECW was that outsider promotion that they wouldn't see, and it's pretty interesting to know that that was your main promotion when it came to wrestling content. Um,
yeah,
Everybody in the chat, I appreciate you guys tuning in. We had some technical difficulties in the last one, but I want to let you guys know in this one press that little question mark on the bottom if you want to ask Phoebe anything, and I'll be more than glad to relay the message. You mentioned Jazz,
Mhm.
and Jazz, growing up, was a woman that I knew was just tough as shit, and I
Mhm.
knew she can take them all down. And working with Mission Pro, I got to meet her and actually like become friends with her, which is still surreal to me. Um,
Yeah.
I have the opportunity to
Oh
just
no.
text her whenever I like. It's just weird. Now you had a match with Jazz, and she is now a trainer at the Dog
Oh,
Pound Dojo, and she
we
is
froze
training.
again. Yeah.
Oh no, am I good?
No, you're good.
Okay, now I'm good. So what I was saying is that Jazz is now a trainer at the Dog Pound Dojo and is now training a bunch of very talented young ladies such as yourself. You actually had a match with her. Watching Jazz as a kid in ECW to then being in the ring with her, it's kind of an elementary question, but what was that like? Was it full circle for you? And what's, and what was that match like for you?
Oh, that's a good question. She might remember this, but like, because that match was almost 2 years ago, and we've rewatched that together a couple of times, and I'll tell you how I felt during that. But after, and this is like months later, and she was telling me how like she just wanted to have a fun match. She wanted to
Hmm.
have someone, she wanted to wrestle someone that she knew that she could have fun with, that she knew that it'll be easy to have a match with. And she told ladies night out, I was like, put me in the ring with Phoebe. At that time I had the hula hoop, I had the whole shebang thing going on, and I feel like I'm very easy to work with. Yeah, I'm whenever I found out that I was gonna wrestle Jazz, me thinking I was going to be easy to work with, now I'm just like, oh my gosh, I am so nervous. But then I'm like, you know what? Like, no, I'm ready. This is what I've been wanting, because for the longest time, I'm never given matches that challenge me. I'm never given an opponent that challenges me. The only time that I ever had a match that really challenged me was whenever I was tagging with Baby D and we were fun and sexy. But all we
Hmm.
did was just wrestle men. And those men, whenever I got in the ring with men, I hit them just as hard as they hit me, and they challenged me. So me not having that many women's matches under my belt, and then I'm going being thrown in this ring with this woman, the first female that I've ever seen wrestle on TV. I've known about her since I was 8 years old. I've been to all of her seminars, and I even moved to San Antonio to train under Jazz. That's why I'm here. That's why I left everything. But during that moment, and she like I came out first and then she came out second, like I was close to tears because I was like, oh my god. And then I was like, and I was talking to myself in my head, and I'm like, no, no, Phoebe, don't cry, we're not gonna cry. There's no crying in wrestling. And then I just had to turn away from the camera like this and just like, okay. But as soon as the bell rang, it was all the anxiety that I felt, all of the pressure that I felt, it should have never been there, because I was in such good hands with
Hmm.
one of like the most influential woman that's she is like one of the main reasons why I got into wrestling other than Sabu. So it was very full circle. I've loved every minute of it.
What's one of the more surprising characteristics about her that you learned after meeting her and getting to know her?
She's like that cool aunt that you haven't seen in a couple of years, and then she comes on Thanksgiving and you guys get to have a glass of wine together and just like catch up. Like you just pick up with your conversation where it left off. Like she's totally laid back, totally relaxed, and just she like makes people feel comfortable and
Yeah.
relaxed, and she just has that personality. She just has that aura with her.
We developed a friendship too, and after I interviewed her, I thanked her so much for giving me that time. It's something I feel like I didn't deserve. And then even with the mask on, I get to the show and she walks out and she's just like, D. I was like, hey. She's like, come here. I was like, okay. And she gives me a big hug, and she's like, thanks so much for your support and coming. And I'm like, why are you thanking me? You're Jazz, you know, like, Jesus. So like I said in the beginning, you refed a lot of matches in Mission Pro Wrestling. Um, you had the crazy pants, and one thing that everybody noticed about you is that you had the best facial expressions for the big moves, for the big spots in matches. Was it difficult for you to not react when you're supposed to be in ref mode?
I feel like I was reacting accordingly. Like I have the best seat in the house. I'm right there, front and center. I just got to stay out the way. Like
Mm.
whenever Holiday lifted Genocide up for like one of her finisher, and Genocide gave her a tombstone, I'm like, those are some. They're not like petite models. Those are like
No, yeah,
athletes,
yeah.
real athletes, just straight up strong women, and just seeing them go back and forth. I'm like, how can you not react? Like, I'm just gonna. That's impossible for me.
One of the matches that you refed was Thunder Rosa against Baby D. As we mentioned before, Baby D was your tag team partner in Fun and Sexy. I talked to her right after her retirement match, and she talked about your relationship and your friendship over all these years, and how she loved the fact that you refed the match. What was it like for you in turn?
I couldn't. I would be lying if I were to say I was fighting back tears. Like that I wasn't fighting back tears because I was very emotional. Even like driving up to the venue and knowing that this is gonna be our last match, and then I know that I'm going to be the ref, and one, I'm thinking I'm gonna do whatever I can so that she wins. Uh, and then the other one was just like I don't know what I'm gonna do without her. And then one thing led to another after that match, and then I something just kind of switched in me, and that's when I like just broke the hula hoop. I'm just like, forget it, like, and it's kind of like a bit of a symbolism to like leave that behind me and just start something new. Now I just need to. It's this whole evolving that everyone in wrestling talks about. You work with something until it works, and then it stops working, and then you just evolve, and then you just keep going. For me, I think I just stuck in the comfort zone of just being a tag team. Her and
Okay.
I were a tag team for almost 3 years. So she was like it was she's my first tag team partner other than Skylar Slice. But well, my second tag team partner, and we were the champions for the longest time. We've won up and down the Midwest, and then going to London together. And like when you're in the car with each other and you're driving from Dallas to Chicago, 16 hours, you need to know like, who am I tagging with? Who am I riding with? And then like those long trips is what got us to open up to one another and like really just kind of like let our walls down and know that whatever we say to each other in this car is going to stay in this car. But as soon as we get out and into the venue, it's all business. Now we just have to focus on our team until we leave. So having to I'm just so privileged, and I'm so happy that Mission Pro allowed me to be the ref for her last match, because either way I was still going to be there. Even if I wasn't going to be a ref, I was still going to buy my ticket and just go sit in the stands, just so that I needed to be there for that moment, and I'm really happy that they let me do that. I did cry though. I
Toward
cried.
the end of the match, toward the end of the match, it looked like Thunder Rosa was going to be victorious, and there were points where Thunder Rosa didn't even want to cover Baby D, and I found myself fighting tears because of the story, how it developed within the match, and how emotionally invested people can get. Um,
Yeah.
and then after that, when Baby D was just alone in the ring, we were all pounding the ring to congratulate her on an amazing career, and I had tears in my eyes. If there was one match that is so emotionally charged that you can show somebody who doesn't watch wrestling as the
Yeah.
reason why you watch wrestling, what match would that be for you?
Oh my goodness. I don't know if this is gonna make sense to anybody, but I always go back to my first memory when I first watched wrestling. And it was the first time that I saw Sabu. It was like, I forgot what pay-per-view it was on ECW, but it was like 1999, and he was wrestling Terry Funk. It was a barbed wire match.
Okay.
And this match has always been talked about, especially this moment that I'm about to share with you. But this is also what like led me to just like follow Sabu from here on out. I'm a Sabu stan through and through, and I've also met him once. Like
Oh my
it
God, you got to let us know that story
oh
after
my
this one.
gosh. But they're like they've from what I gathered, like they've had like this rivalry for a while, and then with ECW, like it's Extreme Rules. Like there's no disqualifications, there's no like count outs, there's no anything, and then he inputs barbed wires and replacements of the ropes, like just gonna get crazy. At one point, I can't remember what move it was, but I think it was like a power bomb or suplex. I can't remember, but Sabu ripped his biceps. He ripped his bicep open and on the barbed wire. And oh yeah, and then while he was going like into a move, like Terry Funk was giving him a move, I see him and I watch his real life. Like he grabbed his wrist tape off of his wrist to tape his bicep because it was just gushing blood.
Oh
And
my
this was
God.
like early on into the match. And I'm like, oh my God. And I'm freaking out. I'm like, what's going on? I was like, there's no way this is fake. I like, to me, wrestling is very real, especially in this moment. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And then in my little 8-year-old mind, I'm like, why would anyone want to do this? I'm looking at my uncles like, what's going on? I'm so confused. And like, keep watching. And then you just keep going. And then he goes on for like another 10 minutes, still wrestling. I think with that, it just shows that much grit that Sabu had. Like, no matter what, like you're gonna have to kill the motherfucker to keep him down because he's gonna keep coming back up and coming back up. And like each time he's ever had a match after that, it's like he comes back more fierce, more hard ass. You know what I mean? So if people want to watch that match, they can. I mean, if you can find it on YouTube, it's very poor quality, but I mean, it's an opposite contrast from Baby D's retirement match to this moment in time. But like for me, that's what I would suggest because a lot of people, even on Twitter, like Bow Wow trying to say all this stuff and Soldier Boy
Soldier
saying
Boy
wrestling's
today.
fake and all this other stuff. And I'm like, go watch
Soldier
that
Boy.
match.
He told Randy Orton, "Do you know who I am?" I'm like, "Do you know who you're talking to, bro?"
I forgot Soldier Boy existed. Like,
um. So you also had a podcast of your own called The Psychedelic Adventure, where you covered Chernobyl and Christopher Columbus. Can you tell me what other topics you would have had in that podcast if it lived on?
if if I were to continue with it, is what you mean?
Yes.
Oh no, wait, you're frozen again.
Am I frozen again? You're
Oh, you're
frozen right now,
frozen.
Phoebe.
Can you?
I can hear you. I can totally hear you. You're just frozen right now, and you. Okay, there you go. We're
You
good.
can see me.
Yes.
That is
So
so
what? So
funny that
what was the
you
podcast
mentioned
about?
that.
And what would you have covered later on? I do my research, Phoebe. I looked
Um,
you up.
well, this was like uh during the start of like COVID, before like when the world ended. I was
Before
like,
the
I'm
world
so
ended. Yeah.
bored. Yeah, I was like, I'm so bored. Like, I need to do something. Like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like, I need to engage with like of the small amount of followers that I have. And so I saw that instead of like Patreon, I looked on Patreon. I'm like, it just looked too confusing. Tier one, tier two, like that, like that. So I got into OnlyFans, but then I know what OnlyFans is about. It's like, like I've never like showed anything like that, but I wanted to have like a little platform where I can like do what I want to do. And it was just I was just giving history lessons. I was just talking about times in history while I was
That's
tripping on
awesome.
acid. And we went live. I went live on my OnlyFans, tripping on acid, talking about Christopher Columbus. Well, the Columbus one on shrooms, but the other one with Chernobyl, I was tripping on acid too. So it.
Oh,
I have so many history topic, and I even had like some wrestlers too that were willing to go on the show with me and trip with me and just talk about
oh,
history. Like I'm talking about when the Dallas Cowboys first started, when Pokemon first originated, like so mainstream history like that, and then like other like history like, and my next topic was going to be Greek mythology. Like I was really gonna like get
on
into it,
acid.
like
Just
yes,
Aphrodite and Hercules on acid.
yes, it was great, it was fun, and a lot of work, a lot of editing, a lot of hours to go through just to edit it. And I couldn't even upload it on YouTube. Before I could even upload it on YouTube, I'm banned from YouTube. I tried. I, I went against some guidelines.
That was a look of defeat. You were like, like it was just.
I'm going on my friend's computer, like not even connected to my router, and like it won't let me. Like I'm creating like fake email accounts and fake Google to like make a YouTube account. Wouldn't let me.
Wow, really? That's crazy.
Yes.
I was
So
gonna
I'm just
tell you, I was
stuck
like,
on
just do
OnlyFans.
another email, but I guess they got their magnifying glass on you so bad. So I just want to go
It's
into.
my
I know we don't
FBI
have a lot of
agent.
time left, but I wanted to go into just a few rapid fire questions. Some funny things I found out about you. Why won't you watch Grey's Anatomy?
I don't like any medical shows. I'm not. I'm over it. I like it.
No medical shows at all. Okay. Can you tell
Baby
me?
D loves Grey's Anatomy, and she's always talking about it. And I'm like, but you're a nurse. Like, what the heck? Like, of course you want to watch it. But I never got the hype of it. I never got the hype. And one of my favorite shows is Criminal Minds. So, like, shows like that was good for me. But Grey's Anatomy, no. Like, I don't care how bored I'm not
That's the
watching
tweet.
Grey's
That's the tweet that I
Anatomy.
saw. That's the tweet that I saw. Um, what are some of the rewards about meditating that you didn't realize until you started doing it?
Just a peace of mind. I think before, even before I got into wrestling, I was a very no, I wasn't a mean person. I was just doing dumb shit. So, and I was doing dumb shit with like other dumb people. So I
Mm.
was just falling into very bad habits, not doing healthy things or anything like that. And I think with that, and just with like past trauma that I've experienced growing up, and even like past relationships and stuff, like it can like mess with someone's mind. Even if you're like at a job that you hate and you have to work with a coworker, you have to work for a boss that doesn't appreciate you or respect you, like it's gonna mess with you mentally. So I like to at least take 10, 30 minutes out of my day just to like sit down by myself, close my eyes, just like shut all those negative thoughts where like I'm in my head, I'm repeating people that are saying like I'm not good enough, or I'm too weak, or like things like that, like all those echoing thoughts that like constantly follow me throughout the years. I need to meditate to silence them, get a handle on them. I recommend meditating. People should definitely do it,
Yeah.
especially if you're depressed or something, because then it gives you time to have time for yourself, so
Okay, now she froze. Can you hear me, Phoebe?
yes.
Okay, now we're good. Okay, got it. All right. What's one of the reasons that you say that you over tip when you go out to restaurants? Do you
Well,
just not? Do you just say here? or is it a math thing, or you feel bad for these guys? What's one of the reasons you overtip?
Well, I used to be a server too. My 1 year at Olive Garden.
The 1 year. The plaque is
One
on the
year.
wall.
The 1 year, but I was also a bartender too, and some people are just stingy. Like whenever you
Hmm.
work in the service industry, like people are just very stingy. I've had customers come back into the restaurant because they thought that I shorted them like 50 cents. You know what I mean? So it's just like dealing with people like that and just dealing with public in general like that. Like I just feel so bad because when I was younger and I was in like as a waitress, like couldn't handle it. Mother's Day, forget about it.
Oh, Mother's Day
Worst day,
sucks.
worst day.
It was Mother's Day. I worked at IHOP for like 10 years. It was Mother's Day and it was Easter. Oh
Oh
my
my
God.
gosh. Mine was Mother's Day and Valentine's Day. Worst.
Uh,
10/10, do not recommend whatsoever. Um, but oh wait, no, we're frozen again.
you good?
Um, so the reason why I overtip is like yeah, like if you just leave me alone, you know? If I'm just left alone, like I one of my pet peeves is like they set the food down and I'm just starting to eat and they come back. So how's everything? I'm like, I don't know. I just started like, and just trying to make small talk. Like I get the whole like making small talk and stuff, but I tip more when I'm just being left alone. You're on point with refilling my water cup and everything else and making sure I got extra sauce or whatever. But I'm just there to chill, relax, dine in. And if I'm left alone, then I'm going to tip you really well.
Awesome. Last question, Phoebe. Thank you so much for your time, by the way. What will it take for us to grab some popcorn and sit down and watch a horror movie?
You have to pay me.
Gotta pay you.
I'm not.
Why not? Why not a horror movie? Why?
No.
What? That's not a
No.
reason. What is that?
No. So I'm gonna tell you one of my trauma stories.
It's
This was this
drama.
was this was after I watched what was the movie Child's Play for the first time.
Oh, hell yeah.
Very young. That movie came out in like 89. I was born in 92. I think I was like 7, 8. It was around the time I started getting interested in wrestling.
Yeah.
Terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. What does my uncle do? After the movie, he buys me 2 dolls that are twins and they talk.
That's
I
awesome.
don't need that right after the movie. I don't need that.
That's so great.
It was horrible. I was drawing on their face and then like throwing them in the closet, throwing stuff on top of them. And then when Scream came out, that scared me too. And I'm very easily scared, but I also have quick reflexes,
Oh.
No, nothing like that. Nothing like that. Like, and I don't like haunted houses just because, like, I just don't like it. After I watched the movie Scream, I'm like freaking out. We're watching it in the morning time, so I go to my room. Tell me why my uncle gets one of those ghost face masks and then it was a fake knife and he's just chasing after me through the house and I'm like, no.
What a great guy. What a great guy. He sounds like a fun uncle. Well,
really
those reflexes, those quick reflexes we will be seeing on March 20th in Buda, Texas at Pinball's Kingdom as Phoebe teams with Jazmin, Allure, and Myka to take on the Queendom, who is Promise Braxton, Amber Rodriguez, and Danni B, who is a Oklahoma Cowboy fan, apparently. And not agreeing with Phoebe for some of that. But again, guys, please follow Mission Pro Wrestling, missionprowrestling.net for tickets. Temperatures will be taken at the door. Masks are enforced. Please, guys, social distancing is also enforced.
And please
if you're
test
following,
too.
what's that?
Please test if you can.
Yes, yes,
Make sure
definitely.
you're
If you're
texting.
following Phoebe and you're not following me, my name is right there. Click on it and follow me. And if you're following me and you haven't followed Phoebe yet, click on her name right there and follow her. Phoebe, where else can they find you on social media?
Twitter, same handle.
Phoebe underscore one love. Thanks again, everybody. Have a great night and take care of yourselves. I'm out.
Thanks.